Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Creepy Kitties. Today's topic is going to be the white ladies, the ghostly things, those creepy ladies.
Ladies in white, whatever you want to call them, they're a thing.
Yes. Now, I think I see Joseph hiding in the chats there. If you're here, me and Summer wanted to wish you a very happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday!
I hope it was a good one. No, oh, it
No.
wasn't? It was a good
Oh,
birthday or we're embarrassing you? I am without age. There we go.
immortal. All right, we got it.
Next week's topic, brain lock and his immortal age.
He bathes in the blood of his enemies.
Oh no.
All right,
Cool. Okay, well let's
let's just jump into this crazy
Yes. So I'm going to start it off. I'm going to talk about like a little bit about what they are. I think most people know, but then again, I think me and Summer might be a little bit more of a ghost nerd than the average person, so you might not know.
Yeah,
Um,
who knows?
who knows? Let's get us all on the same page. So pretty much, we're going to be covering one of my favorite topics, ghosts. And it's not any type of ghost. It's not a generic ghost. We're going to be covering the white ladies and some of the many stories about them. Now, these types of ghosts are usually associated with a tragedy. They're described as female, dressed in white. The white is meant to represent innocence. Now, there's another type of ghost out there who's called the lady in red, which would probably be the less innocent lady ghost. It's said they're restless spirits looking for closure in their deaths before they can rest. And because of this, the same ghost is often seen for decades in the same location.
That's nice. That's pleasant.
Yeah, right? It's like they want closure. It's like things like find the murderer or like avenge their wrongful death. It's
Even
like
though
good luck with
people
that.
decades later have no idea what's going on, it's
Yeah.
fine.
It's kind of sad if they are really around. It's like you're screwed. Now, when we talked about UFOs recently, we showed the huge increase in sightings around the World War II time period. But for the ladies in white, they've been seen globally for centuries, which I thought was really cool because it's not just one culture that's spreading these stories.
Oh yeah, no, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's
Literally.
crazy. In fact, Summer's
I
going to
couldn't
be
we couldn't
focusing more
write
on the
about all of
English.
these.
Right? Yeah. And Summer's going to be focusing mostly on the English side of things, where I'll focus more on like the other types of countries where English is not the main language.
Oh gosh.
The
Good
first
luck
site.
pronouncing things.
Oh shoot! I forgot to double check the pronunciations. It's okay. I'll butcher words. You'll forgive me, right? If not, I don't
I feel
care.
that. Yeah, that's it.
The first sighting now is said to be around 1625, but there's similar tales of ghostly women wearing white that have been around since even earlier. There's a lot of folklore, and they just weren't called ladies in white or white ladies at that time. Um, in medieval history, it was believed that a white lady would actually appear in a house prior to the death of someone in the household. And then there's a few other types of white ladies. I hit on them. Now, oh, actually, I have a picture for this. Don't forget the
Yeah, I've only heard
pictures.
about one other one. I didn't know that there were so many different types, and I'm just like, okay, wow.
There are so many different types. Like, if you check the topic list later, I'm like adding all these extra things in there because I'm like, oh man, like Thailand has like all these different ghost types that I've never heard of, and so does Japan, and it's pretty
Right?
nuts.
It really is.
Okay, so we have the different kind. Yeah, medieval history, a lady in white would appear prior to the death. In Latin America folklore, you've all probably heard of this recently, but La Llorona is a vengeful spirit that kidnaps children and drowns them. And she's
I'm
technically
glad
a
you
lady in
mentioned
white
her.
too, right? She's pretty
I'm
pretty
glad you did.
scary. In
Yeah.
Now, this one's probably my favorite. In Slavic mythology is the Lady Midday. She appears on hot summer days and harasses workers in the field. It's said an encounter with her could lead to heat stroke or death, and was often used to caution children away from the fields as they may be abducted in the tall grain. Which makes me wonder if anyone's seen In the Tall Grass. Let me know if that's kind of a similar storyline to that. Because I saw tall grain and kids getting lost, and yeah, it made me think of this. And then there's also the Japanese slit-mouthed woman, and she's been originating since around the
That's so creepy.
1600s. Yes, she is creepy.
I hate it.
Now, I don't know if you know much about what her story is, but she pretty much would ask random passerbyers if they find her beautiful. Now, either answer will assure your death or have you join in a matching smile. So either way, you're screwed.
So you didn't die then. You saw her and you didn't die. Is that what you're saying then?
I didn't.
Brain lock. Brain.
Oh.
Nope. I'm... That's right. I'm sorry. I forgot. You never die.
Oh, I missed some great comments here. How do we know that the ladies in white are seeking closure? Maybe it's just tacos. I love it.
Maybe. Tacos are amazing. Like, why not?
We were actually talking about this earlier, like how do you appease a spirit? Like I was telling her, I'm like, you could give kids candy, but what do you give a ghost to make her like you? We didn't know.
Yeah.
We'll try
Everything
tacos.
seemed to lead to death.
Summer,
Tacos may be good.
when we go ghost hunting, we're bringing tacos just in case, okay?
Yes. Yes. Let's make friends with the ghosts.
And Gohan is right. It does seem to be a very common ghost type, just like the ghost dogs. I love how a lot of these stories they have reoccurring subjects.
Yes. You know what's weird is the ghost dogs remind me of like a Nancy Drew game I played, haha, and a book I read, like the Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake or whatever. That crap creeped me out so bad. I don't know. I just don't like dog ghosts. Miss me with that. I don't need it. It's bad enough to be mauled by a real freaking dog. Like I don't need that.
Okay, well, let's see. I got the descriptions down, and then Summer, did you want
All
to
right.
jump into it a little bit?
Let's do this.
Okay.
The first one though is a little. It's not very, very serious. So we're just gonna take it at face value. Our brains are wired to see faces in pretty much anything, so this can lead to some pretty funny pictures. I've seen them myself. I think they're cute sometimes, but this is an abomination. Whatever this is, I'm not quite sure. Rochester, New York, as you'll see in just a bit, has a bit of a history or obsession, I would put it, with white ladies, or ladies in white, whatever you want to call them. So when a storm roared through Rochester and ripped a chunk of a tree off in Durn Eastman Park, the locals gathered around and marveled at how it looked just like a lady in white, apparently. I don't know. You guys can
does
speculate.
look like one, but is it actually a
It
ghost?
looks
No, probably
weird.
not.
That's for sure. I don't like it. It's disconcerting. So they claim to see the figure of a woman with a skull-like face, apparently, with wearing a dress and arms reaching toward the sky. And some people think that she's holding a baby, which I guess I could see the baby more than both arms reaching toward the sky. Because if that's an arm,
Oh, okay.
It's been mutated, I guess.
Maybe it's a burrito. Maybe it's
Maybe.
tacos.
Let's all hope. Just leave tacos at the side of the tree, because apparently they're not going to cut that thing down because it isn't a danger. It's fine. They're going to leave it the way it is. People have been coming to it. Leave tacos. I encourage you. If wherever you are, if you live in Rochester, New York, leave tacos.
Summer, let's go. Let's do this.
Yes. I am all about it, please.
We'll take a picture and send it to Brainlock.
Yes. And then we have. All right, so we're in the silly section. This is why I deem this the silly section. You got White Lady's Castle, which is again in Rochester, New York, and they have an entire castle dedicated to ladies in white or white ladies. So I was pretty intrigued by this, by the name alone. White, it's a castle. Come on, it's fabulous. And I was ready to do a deep dive, and especially after the weird tree thing, I felt there had to be some reason for their admiration of the lady in white. Except it's not really a castle. It's just an early 20th century dining hall of a hotel for people that were visiting Lake Ontario at the time. That's it. It's not a castle at all. Turns out, the locals have been making up urban legends about it for decades, bringing their friends around and trying to spook them. That's all this is. They claim this is the story they've given this, that the ruins of the building are that of a stately mansion, that the daughter of an overprotective mother ran off one night, never to return, and the mother went mad, and after her death still haunts the home, tormenting any young lovers who visit. Others have said they've seen the ghost with 2 ghost dogs at her side that will chase couples away. And really just all this sounds like to me is a very effective method of keeping teens from trying to hit third base in a dilapidated mansion. That's it.
I think that's what half of these stories are, honestly.
It really is. Good Lord. Yeah, I love it.
Is there anything else to add on this one?
No, I think it's pretty good. I think that covers the silly aspect of all this, of urban legend type things that are just passed down word of mouth. And the tree was pretty weird on its own, I feel. So
Lissy, this is in Rochester, New York.
Yes, the same place. It's the same place.
As this tree with a lady in white.
They very much love her.
And since you came in late, we also want to inform you, because we'll probably bring it up again, is that we suspect ghosts might love tacos, and that's how you make them happy. Yes. So we'll probably bring that up again, just so you're in the loop.
We're going to appease them. We're going to appease them with tacos.
Now, this one I don't have any specific pictures for, so I'm going to do my generic little collage in the background. But I want to cover the lady in white of, I hope I pronounced this right, Sao Paulo, somewhere in Brazil. Now, there's an urban legend in Brazil that every few months a man will go missing. According to legend, she appears as a pale woman in a long white dress or a sleeping gown, and although usually speechless, will occasionally recount her misfortunes. It's unclear where she originated, this lady in white, but speculated that she met a tragic end in the 1800s through violence or childbirth or murder. It's not quite clear. There's actually a few stories that go around, and I couldn't find very good verification of any of them. So I was like, okay, whatever. Now,
it's always tragic. It's always a tragic story.
Hey, Ash! Welcome to the show!
Hi!
Now, this is the only where I kind of dropped down a little bit of a rabbit hole. It
happens. It's inevitable.
Yeah, another rabbit hole. What a shock. Now, I'll keep this one a little brief because it's a little off topic, but it's pretty interesting when you pair it against this lady in white story. Now, this state has the highest number of missing people, with 39.4 disappearances per 100,000 people.
No, that's too many.
That's terrible.
Even one. I'm sorry, I hate it.
But it gets weirder too. So when I was digging into what was going on there, apparently this area has mass burials held with unclaimed bodies. And often little effort is actually made to connect the surviving relatives. So they'll bury them with their IDs and just whatever, people contact them does this person have a tattoo? And they're just like, no, we don't have any of those. When they actually find out later that those people were there, they did have those tattoos, and they just really didn't want to do the extra legwork to, let the mom know her child's dead. But whatever.
Gosh.
Employee of the year,
It's so
everyone.
hard. Holy crap. Do
No.
this.
Now, there's rumors actually of organs being harvested, and according to the state's missing persons program, in the last 15 years, the bodies of 3,000 people who've had identifying documents were buried in the unmarked graves. So, oof.
That's fun.
Yeah, so I don't know what's really going on there, but it's a little off topic. But when you pair this with the missing men being taken by the lady in white, it just gives an extra creepy layer of maybe possible cover up. Probably not, but something weird is happening there. I think the weirdness is just laziness, but
every place I've researched has like some other creepy stuff that goes along with the initial creepy stuff, and it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and Brainlock has another gold line here. They slip into the Tacoverse.
Yes.
I love it.
Tacos.
But yeah,
tacos.
So that's a.
Let's do this.
So next we're going to talk about the Lemp Mansion.
Oh yeah, that's fun. So.
Actually, before you get into this, stick around because after this one, we're going to be covering the Elfin Forest, which my husband Kyle actually saw a ghost there. So this is his time to shine. So stick around because you don't want to miss that one.
That's gonna be great. I can't wait. I can't wait for that one. I love personal experiences because I've had them and it's great. All right, let's get into this. In St. Louis, Missouri, there's a haunted mansion and also a haunted hospital, but I think we'll save that for another time. Really, the entirety of St. Louis just seems to be absolutely haunted as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. It's everything's haunted. If you go to St. Louis, you might as well just be living with ghosts, apparently. Now, the Lemp Mansion is our focus today, which is possibly haunted by the entire Lemp family. All of them, collectively. When I looked into this initially, I thought it was going to be one of those silly ones, like the Rochester ones, because the first story I saw had a group of ghost hunters, I'm going to use that with like quotation marks, that got fooled by an actress while they were on a haunted tour and she came forward on Facebook and said, no, that's me in the picture. And so that's my first initial introduction to this. I wasn't very pleased and I was pretty skeptical at that point, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. This beautiful looking inn and restaurant has a history, and some people even refer to it as cursed. In 1840, a German immigrant named J. Adam Lemp, I hope I'm saying all this correctly. I have no idea. I could be wrong. Opened his first brewery using a German brewing technique with limestone caves. It was successful enough for him to build a second brewery, but we're not going to talk about the successful business story. That's not why we're here. He died, and his son William Lemp Jr. took over and continued growing the business. I'm sorry, William Lemp, not Jr. That's later on. He built himself a mansion / brewery / restaurant, complete with caves that were underground storage rooms, a ballroom, a swimming pool, and a theater. He just
it's
made
one of those
himself,
mansions. They're crazy like that.
Right? He made. I want it. Okay, just from hearing about it, I'm like, I'm here for this. Now, as fabulous as the mansion is, we're moving past it, and we're going to talk about what happened to its inhabitants over the years. Yeah, it gets pretty bad. William Sr., so the original dude's son, who took over the business originally, and his wife Julia had 6 children: William Jr., Charles, Elsa, Edwin, Frederick, and Hilda. In 1897, Hilda married the heir of the Pabst Brewery, which is part of the Milwaukee brewing chain, and everything seemed to be going amazingly for everyone. However, that would soon come to an end. In 1904, William Sr. shot himself in the head 3 years after the death of his son Frederick in 1901, who had died suddenly and unexpectedly from heart troubles. They had no idea he had any problems. He just died. And he was only 28, which is like 2 years younger than me. So holy crap, guys. Anyway, I don't want to die. This is just the beginning of a string of tragedies in the family. Now, William, or Billy, Jr., and his wife Lillian, known as Lavender Lady, because she had an affinity for lavender, the color. She would make everything the color lavender. She dressed in it. She had, like, everything made in the color lavender. They both took over the business side of it and the mansion. But only 5 years later, Billy and his wife divorced in a messy public spectacle that the whole town knew about.
Jeez.
In 1911, it's awful. Could you imagine having your entire personal life just out there because you had money? That's cool. Just
It's okay. Just hide in your mansion. I hear they had like bowling alley or something down there. Ballrooms. There you go. You hide in the
caves. They
swimming
had
pool.
fucking caves.
In the caves.
Swimming
The
pools.
Batman.
I'm done. It's insanity. I would kill. Anyway, don't quote me on that, guys. I'm not going to be on this show. I promise. Only 5 years later. Okay, yeah, they all divorced and whatever. In 1911, Billy remodeled the house into an office because the business was struggling to keep up with the competition that was happening, and there were various other breweries in the local area that sprung up. And in 1920, thanks to Prohibition, he seemed to be just shit out of luck at this time, and sold his best brand of beer, Falstaff. I hope I said that correctly. Probably not.
Falstaff, I guess?
Falstaff. Yeah, to another local brewery, and he just shut down the Limp plant. Now, around this time, in March of 1920, the same time, Elsa Limp, the daughter, allegedly shot herself in her own home. I say allegedly because it's debated if she did or if her ex, who she'd really recently taken back, was the one who did it. William Jr., said at the time that this is what our family does. Which is probably the creepiest thing I think I've heard. Imagine saying that at somebody's suicide. Just, this is what our family does. It's creepy. In 1922, the brewery facility was sold to International Shoe Company, and later that year, William Jr. shot himself in the chest at the age of 55. The funeral was held at the mansion. Charles took over, remodeled the home yet again, and lived there until he killed himself in 1949. Edwin was the only remaining brother who didn't kill himself, and died of natural causes in 1970 at the age of 90. He was the only one who didn't really live in the mansion, by the way. So, that's a thing, I guess.
Oh, there's like scary stories that go like that, where you're in a certain space, you get more and more messed up, I guess. So
a show on Netflix that's based on a book that I also read. It's
oh,
called The
we know the
Haunting of
one.
Hill House.
Slizzy's right there in the comments talking about the bent neck lady like crazy.
I fucking
She's
love that
you,
entire
Slizzy.
thing. I love it so much. So much.
So good.
All right. So, all of this has led to reports of sightings of different ghosts in the mansion, including Lavender Lady, of course. So, how cursed is this place? Because I'm definitely saying 10 out of 10 cursed. Like, I don't know about you guys, but definitely 10 out of 10 cursed. They all just killed themselves, and I'm pretty disturbed by it. Come on, man. How are you gonna say that's what we do in this family? At your sister's suicide, that's some fuckery. And then he killed himself. Come on, man. It's cursed. That's it. Proven. I think we're gonna be...
Yes. I'm going to take on the next topic. Sorry, I was trying to make cool commands. We needed like a taco one.
Yes.
So I was in the middle of writing one for the commands. Summer, if you want to glance, I also added a words one, so we We can ask for forgiveness every time. Taco!
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Okay, so the next topic is actually Elven Forest. This is like the one that inspired this one partially. But I'm going to describe Elven Forest before I get Kyle on here to tell his story.
Yes.
Now, oh, I should change the pictures. Unprofessional Sam. There we go. Professional Twitch streamer.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fun.
With its curving roads, twisting trees growing over pathways, eerie sights and sounds, and a total lack of cell phone reception, the Elven Forest is the subject of dozens of urban legends. Seriously, dozens. I'll go into them. Many revolve around its abandoned gated asylum, the entrance to which is marked by an old wooden fence and a sign with a sleeping elf painted on it reading Elven Forest. Behind the torn fence lies acres of land and decaying building foundations. Other tales of haunted spirits and paranormal activity attached to this area include trees that bleed, a ghost lady dressed in white that follows hikers throughout the trails, Native American bodies hanging from trees, shadowed figures that hide in the shrubbery. There we go. Someone do the words cue. I did it again. And
It's fine.
and other strange apparitions taking place over the rumored Native American burial grounds. There's just so much going on in there.
There really is.
Now, I should correct one rumor here. The abandoned asylum was called Quest Haven, and apparently a non-denominational religious retreat, which, so it wasn't actually an asylum. It was pretty much like a non-religious hippie commune type thing. But that has room to be creepy in its own right, honestly.
It does, yes.
This area also saw numerous, oh my goodness, stumbling. This area also saw tons of gypsies who would practice the occult. The community of Harmony Grove spiritualists, palm readers, psychic artists, and seance mediums lived on 12 acres of land and often attempted to contact the dead. Rituals would take place on Sunday mornings where the women would dress in long flowing gowns. And that was actually documented in the San Diego Union back in '83.
Oh, that's fun. This is great.
Yes.
Like, this is also creepy. I hate it.
Now, Corinne Pleasant was a spiritualist and resident of Harmony Grove. So what's another hippie commune in the area.
You could definitely tell Harmony Grove. It sounds.
Right?
Come on now.
This sounds like a beautiful place, right? Harmony Harmony Groove and Quest Haven, like it's that or it's like a video game.
Yes.
No.
That's it.
Corinne recalled stories of trying to contact the spirits of the rumored slaughtered Indian children who were buried upright in the hills above the forest. She said the children's ghosts could actually be seen on a clear night running and playing throughout the forest. She also made claims that her group of spiritualists were visited by a ghost of an Englishman wearing an old stove hat and carrying a swinging lantern. Now.
No thanks.
Right. Now, the Lady in White has long been rumored to haunt the area known as Elven Forest. Pleasant claimed to have seen the woman floating without feet down a grassy path just outside her home. Legend has it that the woman was left on the East Coast while her husband and son sought out land in San Diego. For some unknown reason, both men were killed. The ghost of the Lady in White has been blamed for multiple car crashes along Quest Haven Road. Yeah, right?
Oh, okay then.
A former volunteer fire chief for the area recounted 16 to 20 car crashes were reported each year, and more times than not, they were blamed on the Lady in White. Now, I've been to this area. Kyle has been to this area separately. I didn't see it. Huh?
I drove you through it.
Nice.
Well, we drove through the road, so I can give that insight as well. So he saw the Lady in White there, and I explored the forest. So the forest is really creepy. As you can see from the pictures, it just has this spooky vibe to it. I've been to a lot of national parks, but none gave off this creepiness.
Spooky.
Like just how
That's
the
not
trees are
cool.
shaped. It's not common in this area from what I've seen. You know,
They
they're
look
more like
so
tall.
weird. I love them and hate them at the same time.
Right.
So that's
It's
great.
beautiful. It is beautiful. Beautiful creepy. And for the car crashes, now this road, he drove me down it because I wanted to see where he saw this ghost, and it's long, windy, surrounded by trees, and so I could see how someone who's maybe drinking a bit messed up. It's still unusual for like that many
Yes.
car crashes, I think, though. So I don't know.
There's actually one hairpin turn that's like you have to take it 15 miles per hour. Like,
Yeah, there's a hairpin. I don't know if you heard that, but there's a hairpin
that's fun.
turn where you have to take it 15 miles per hour. Now, I'm going to switch this
That
on.
seems to be common in these kind of things too, is like
yeah,
weird
and then
roads.
there's a cliff on the other side.
And there's a cliff.
Oh.
Gosh, jeez.
Pleasant.
Nightmare. Okay. Now I'm going to switch the sound volume a little bit, so let me know if I start echoing and I'll fix it right up, okay, guys? Let's see. Does this sound okay, guys?
Yeah, sounds the same.
Perfect. I'm going to have Kyle tell his story. I wasn't there. I wish I was, but I do believe him.
Yeah, so to preface this story, you have to understand that half of Elfin Forest had been bought up by a development. So, and this development was called San Alejo Hills. And so they started building all kinds of neighborhoods with like million to multi-million dollar homes. And
Cult stuff.
yeah, right. And yeah, so they were pretty much on their way of changing it up. When I lived there with my ex-girlfriend, and it was in the early stages of the development. So pretty much Elfin Forest Road went all the way to Rancho Santa Fe, which is a main road in the area. And it was called Elfin Forest Road, too, at that time. Now they changed it to San Alejo Road, which...
Oh.
Yeah. So they pretty much took it over. So me and my ex-girlfriend were, I think we only stayed out till about 10:30. I think all we did was get coffee and, you know, no drugs or alcohol. She was driving, and she was driving back on Elfin Forest, and we had gotten about halfways between the main road and the San Alejo development, and there was this lady, you know, that was pretty much she was on the opposite side of the road, and she was walking towards our side of the road, like walking towards us while we're driving, and we're driving at full speed, and on that road it's 45 miles per hour, so it's you know. Yeah, it was very awkward. So I told my girlfriend to slow down because she doesn't look right. Something's a little off about her. Like, you know, she was drunk or drugged or something like that. So we slowed down. She slowed down to about 10 miles per hour. And as we got closer, I was looking, like, it was like the headlights of the car were making the white shine up.
Shimmer?
Yeah, but it wasn't like, you know, she was glowing or anything crazy. It just looked like a person wearing a white dress, right? And as we got closer to her, like I was looking for a face and I couldn't see a face. So it was like completely black, and it was like to the point, you know, where the dress was lit up, and we should have been able to see a face. Because it wasn't like the headlights weren't hitting her in the right spot. They were, and we should have seen something, but we didn't. And then I looked down at her feet, and there were no feet, like none.
Oh God.
Yeah, no feet, no shoes, nothing. And so we were right next to her, like she was looking into the driver's side window. And I told my girlfriend, drive.
I do not blame you.
Yeah, and so she
At all.
drove, and we didn't say a word. We didn't say a word until we got home, and then we both looked at each other. We're like, "Did you see what I saw?" And
Right.
we tried to reaffirm that we both weren't crazy. And yeah, no, she confirmed it, and I confirmed it, and then we talked about it the next day. Like, should we talk to other people about this? And so we went back to our awesome coffee shop that was in the area, and we talked to our friends, and so we mentioned it, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we've heard tons of stories about her, like tons." And it's like, "You guys saw her?" Yeah, and then we're like, "What?" And then so we hopped on the internet that night and got like the whole backstory about this asylum, and like, I mean, we knew about the Wiccans and everything that were in Elfin Forest, and all that, but we didn't hear anything. We didn't know anything
That's so
about any ghosts, but yeah, we saw her.
insane.
Yeah.
Fun little tidbit. He decided to tell me this story for the first time, I think within the first month of dating. As we were driving back from a camping trip late at night on long, windy roads, I'm like, I hate
Why?
you. I hate you so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a special kind of
Oh.
You are. You're very special.
Awful.
Very mean. Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening to my story.
Yes. Thank you for listening to his story. I
That's
thought
awesome.
that was pretty cool. And yeah, Joseph, send me some of these links. I checked out a lot of the stuff around San Diego, but I didn't check out all of it. Like, I never got to the abandoned hospital, I think a little north of San Diego, but I got out to Mount Laguna, which we'll actually talk about that one next week, since I have pictures of that one, since it's an abandoned
Nice.
place, since torn down, sadly. It's
It's
gonna
my
be fun.
favorite. I want to go do a thing. All right. I think we're doing the White Lady of Devil's Elbow now.
Okay. Let me get that one up.
So this name is weird, and I'll probably pronounce it wrong, but okay. So near Owego, who knows? New York. If somebody knows, let me know. That's cool. There's a bit of road called the Devil's Elbow by locals. And it's named as such because at the peak of the hill on Route 17C, there used to be a sharp curve. It has existed for over 200 years, and even in the days of horse-drawn carriages, there were stories about this little part. And no one really seems to know when the first stories were told, and everyone seems to have their own version of the story. Some say that on a dark and stormy night, very inventive, a bride and groom were driving down the road, up the hill that jutted sharply upward, and they never saw the lights of an oncoming car until it was too late. The bride died on impact, and the groom was thrown from the car and apparently never found somehow. Just nothing. So, ooh, spooky. And now whenever it's foggy, they see the lady in white. Now, some people say that she's just a girl on her way to prom. Some people say that she's a hitchhiker, that she's a Victorian era woman who's riding a carriage, that it was some chick that was looking to get some kicks out of speeding really fast and lost control of her car, or that was someone who was walking alone at night, hit by a vehicle. There's just tons. There was people who claimed it was a boyfriend and girlfriend driving home from a party, and the boyfriend was going too fast to make the curve right. So nobody really has the right story or can agree on what the origin of this whole thing is. However, people claim to have seen her. Some say they were too scared to stop, but those who did stop and pick her up supposedly witnessed her disappear in their car, only to be replaced by a white flower or other white things, which Now, I don't know if you guys remember like scary stories to tell in the dark or whatever from when we were kids,
All of them.
but
So scary.
I remember distinctly there being a girl in that story who like left her sweater or something, and she was a ghost. Like this is just a variation of an old ghost story, in my opinion. That part. Nobody's getting white flowers in their cars. That's that's all I'm saying. Um, However, in 1932, no matter how much of an urban legend this seems to be, in 1932, they did find some weird stuff. They were digging up a railway. They were trying to just get rid of the railway at the area that's stopping. Um, and a steam shovel operator found a skull. And not just any skull, but the skull of a young woman that was likely in her 20s.
Oh
And a
no.
coroner, yeah. Oh, it's a coroner determined that it was around 100 years old, the skull, and that it looked to be either blows from an axe or from a flat board, a very thin flat board. Uh, that, that was that was just what they got from the marks on the skull. And around this time that this person would have been alive, there was a tavern in that area that had like a huge reputation for being just shitty as fuck. There was like brawls all the time and just tons of shit. And it had been shut down in 1925. So I don't think we'll ever know who the woman was or, anything, because all the evidence has been lost to time. And there's nothing we can really do about that. But the legend of all this will live on, I feel, for a long time.
See, I feel like stories like these are actually more credible because it's less about like spooky urban legend,
Yeah,
where
it's like 200 years this has been going on. The people have been seeing this apparition. So I just feel like he'll probably live for forever.
jeez. Okay, another New York one. More road trips.
Woo! I can't wait.
I swear for our year show, if we hit that point, we should do something really epic like that. I'm gonna
Yes.
get like ghost equipment and go like road tripping around some hot spots and bring tacos.
I really, 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 really want to do it. I'm not even playing. Like this is I actually tweeted about it, guys. I
Really?
have a Twitter. I did. I was like, so guys, Sammy and I have been talking about going on a road trip. How would y'all feel? Because I'm here for it. And lots of people are also here for it. I've actually been told to contact somebody else and follows me already to like collab, and I'm like, okay, I don't know.
That'd be
But
amazing.
I want to, and I'm like, oh, okay, everybody seems to be pretty cool, but I'm already down for it. So
And
we definitely have to do
and if we can get friends and
it.
followers to come, that means less chances
Oh
we'll
my
die because we could
gosh.
just push them forward.
Yes.
Take one for the team.
It's amazing. I'm pretty freaking hyped. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so next story. They're getting a little shorter now, but there's a few more good ones coming out. And this one I am going, since I didn't look up how to pronounce it, I'm going to completely butcher this one. But
I feel that.
the the Thwai Watana deserted house. Not
It
no
looks
idea.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
Now, I couldn't find too much supporting evidence on this one, so once again, I'm a little skeptical. But I did find a few articles on it. Now, this is apparently a deserted house in the Thawatana district in suburban Bangkok. In 2015, 7 drunk teenagers were ghost hunting here. They drove all the way down to the end of the road and saw 2 abandoned houses. But before they could enter, the lights in the front of the house were suddenly and mysteriously turned off. They got spooked and they decided to leave. So this seems like a basic teenager story that I'm pretty sure we all have something somewhat similar, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
just drunk in a car. Now, after backing out, they gradually began to die from accidents. There was 2 motorcycle crashes and a house fire. Now, only 2 of them are apparently alive at this point. This is similar to the case in the Hollywood film Final Destination, which I'm sure everyone knows of. Now, at each accident, apparently there were multiple witnesses claiming they would see a mysterious woman with long hair wearing a white dress, either riding on the motorbikes with them or walking into the house before the fire. So creepy. Now,
This whole like scenery reminds me of like Fatal Frame. I don't know if you know that game, but that's what that's the vibes I'm getting from this.
Fatal Frame?
Fatal Frame.
I don't think I know that one. You'll have to send me a link. What's that about?
Oh, it's like you defeat the ghosts in the game by like taking pictures and stuff, and it's probably the creepiest shit. I couldn't play that game for a while. It scared me so bad. So I can't believe you never heard of it. I have to like send it to you.
Yes. Okay. I'm in. I can play it on this
Yes.
on this even. On this
That
channel.
would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Okay, so now here's the plot twist. And most of the articles I searched, they didn't mention this part. But I did find some information on this. So apparently along the road the group had driven down that night, the real abandoned house was actually at the beginning of the road. At the end of the road where the group had seen 2 abandoned houses was actually only empty land. So,
Jeez.
yeah. So, if this is a true story, very, very creepy. Now,
Yeah.
the other thing I found while searching about this is that apparently people of Thailand are very open to spirits. They have their own word for it called a Phi, I believe it's pronounced, Phi. It's also not unheard of for a family, knowing that a childlike spirit resides nearby, to adopt it and raise it as if it was their own kid. They would make regular.
The fuck?
Yeah. Well, I
I'm
think the
sorry,
Japanese have something similar, I think, to honor the dead, but I guess they would make regular offerings of foods, clothing, toys, and candy to ensure its safety and comfort, and their own protection. So, be nice to the ghosts of the neighborhood. They'll be nice to you, I guess.
There you go.
That or they'll kill you off one by one.
Who knows?
Right? Well, creepy.
You want to find out? Let's find out. No.
No.
Oh dear Lord.
Now, I have another little interesting tidbit I found. In eastern Russia, there's apparently the Maidens of Yule. It's an East Siberian legend of the Zayan spirit maidens. Now, there's apparently about 350 or more of them. And they apparently haunt fiancés on the day of their wedding and mesmerize them by their beauty, and they try and drag them into the underground world. So, another type of lady of white that's kind of mixed with a siren. Yeah.
That's terrifying. Yay. All right.
Yeah, right?
Ooh, I love it. No. All right.
But yeah, let's get into one of the most famous ones. You've probably seen this image, the brown lady.
It really is the most famous one. All right. I actually said that you guys have likely seen this photo.
Yeah.
It was taken though at Raynham. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Raynham Hall in Norfolk, England in 1936. Now, it's famous at this point, as we just discussed, and is synonymous with these types of sightings, actually. In fact, it's probably the most famous sighting in Great Britain. Or so it seems, from what I've heard. It is the most famous. We should have our British Sumasis expert here to correct us, but we do not, alas. Alright, this photograph is the first and seemingly only piece of evidence, and I use that term loosely here, of the Brown Lady. This is commonly thought to be the ghost of Lady Dorothy Walpole, but we'll get into that in a bit. There have been accounts written and whispered over the years the first of which dates all the way back to Christmas of 1835. Lucia C. Stone was among other guests invited to Raynham Hall by Lord Charles Townshend. Also present were Colonel Loftus and his guest Hawkins.
Hawkins,
Now another, yes, I couldn't remember. It was just one name like Cher and Madonna, and I was like, okay, I guess. Colonel Loftus and his guests witnessed the Brown Lady while they were heading to their bedrooms one night. And what caught Colonel Lofton's eye was the ghost was wearing what would seem to be a brown dress of a different time period. And the next night, he claims that he saw her again, and this time he noted that her eyes were dark and cavernous, and it seemed, in comparison to her glowing white skin, that's what lured him in, was her dark eyes. That her skin was glowing, which is weird. I'm sorry, I would have left the first night, but hey, okay, it's alright. I mean, come on. Alright, the next sighting.
Issues, right? The one had rats.
Why would you be here? So weird. Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Look who's in the chat, Miles. Hi.
Hey, oh my gosh.
Well, we gotta do a shout out for that one.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
If I did this shout out right. Oh well, I'll get it right.
I have no idea how things work, so we're doing what we can, guys, alright? It's okay.
Wah wah, that's right.
Thanks. Anyway. The next sighting came in the year 1836. Captain Frederick Marriott, I assume that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. We need a British professional. I see that somebody's in the chat that could possibly help with pronunciation. Now, Frederick Marriott intended to prove the hauntings were merely smugglers that were trying to scare people away. This guy, by the way, was friends with Charles Dickens, and he had actually wrote several novels and things, so he was pretty well known at this point in time. Now here's what his daughter said in 1891 of her father's experience. She wrote this. It says, "He took possession of the room in which the portrait of the apparition hung, and in which she had been seen often, and slept each night with a loaded revolver under his pillow. For 2 days, however, he saw nothing, and the third was to be the limit of his stay. On the third night, however, 2 young men, nephews of the baronet, knocked at his door as he was undressing to go to bed, and asked him to step over to their room, which was at the other end of the corridor, and give them his opinion on a new gun just arrived from London. My father was in shirt and trousers, but as the hour was late and everybody had retired to rest except themselves, he prepared to accompany them as he was. As they were leaving the room, he caught up his revolver. 'In case you meet the Brown Lady,' he said, laughing. When the inspection of the gun was over, the young men in the same spirit declared they would accompany my father back again. 'In case you meet the Brown Lady,' they repeated, laughing also. The 3 gentlemen therefore returned in company. The corridor was long and dark, for the lights had been extinguished, but as they reached the middle of it, they saw the glimmer of a lamp coming towards them from the other end. 'One of the ladies going to visit the nurseries,' whispered the young Townsends to my father. Now the bedroom doors in that corridor faced each other, and each room had a double door with a space between, as is the case in many old-fashioned houses. My father, as I have said, was in shirt and trousers only, and his native modesty made him feel uncomfortable, so he slipped within one of the outer doors, his friends following his example, in order to conceal himself until the lady should have passed by. I have heard him describe how he watched her approaching nearer and nearer through the chink of the door, until, as she was close enough for him to distinguish the colors and style of her costume, he recognized the figure as the facsimile of the portrait of the Brown Lady. He had his finger on the trigger of his revolver, and was about to demand it to stop and give the reason for its presence there, when the figure halted of its own accord, before the door, behind which she stood, and holding the lighted lamp she carried to her features, grinned in a malicious and diabolical manner at him. This act so infuriated my father, who was anything but lamb-like in disposition, that he sprang into the corridor with a bound and discharged the revolver right in her face. The figure instantly disappeared. The figure at which for several minutes 3 men had been looking together, and the bullet passed through the outer door of the room on the opposite side of the corridor, and lodged in the panel of the inner one. My father never attempted again to interfere with the brown lady of Raynham. Next, Lady Townsend claimed that in 1926 her son and his friend saw the brown lady on a staircase. They claimed the lady looked just like the portrait of Dorothy Walpole which hung in the haunted room. Dorothy Walpole was the second wife of Charles Townsend, and Charles apparently had a temper. He discovered that Dorothy had been seeing Lord Wharton in secret, and supposedly punished her by keeping her locked away in Raynham Hall. However, Mary Wortley Montagu, a writer, poet, and aristocrat, seemed to think otherwise. She claimed that Dorothy was actually lured and entrapped by the Countess of Wharton, who knew her husband would never leave her and would never want her to leave. In any case, she died at Raynham Hall of smallpox in 1726. The photo came about as Captain Hubert C. Provand and his assistant Indri Shira, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but we're just going to go with that, were taking photos of the property for Country Life magazine. They had already taken one shot of the now infamous staircase and were setting up to do another. Shira claimed she saw a vapory form gradually appear, assuming the shape of a woman, that descended the stairs towards them. Shira told Provand to take the cap off the lens while Shira triggered the flash. Paranormal investigator Harry Price interviewed them, and he claimed that he believed it to be completely true and saw no sign of fakery in the negatives of the photograph. Some think, however, that Shira smeared an oil of some sort on the lens before snapping the photo. Others think that it was an accidental double exposure, or the light got into the camera somehow, because that was a problem back in the day. I don't know if you guys realize we have great cameras now, but back in the day, it was a lot of work. Joe Nickel wrote that a thorough examination showed that it was a double exposure. John Fairley and Simon Welfare claimed there is a pale line above each stair, which proves that one picture has been superimposed over the other, which is why the bit of reflected light at the top of the banister on the right appears twice. John Booth, the magician, not the murderer, claimed he could replicate it, and he couldn't find it. I couldn't find a picture of that, but people claim at the time that it looked remarkably similar. I really could not. I looked forever, guys, for a picture of this, and there is nothing. There is just the original picture that's been touched up and redone and whatever. So if it did, great. I can't find it. So now still others claim that it looks like the Virgin Mary. So they must have superimposed the Virgin Mary statue onto the picture. I have no idea. I think that it was a fluke, in my opinion, but that's just me. Simply judging by how it hasn't been seen since. This is the biggest sighting that's been seen of it. That's it.
No, we were talking about this in the offline earlier, and I was telling her, I'm like, just one sighting actually kind of makes it more realistic in a way.
It
because
might
if there's
be,
too
yeah.
many sightings, it would prove ghosts are real, right? But
who knows?
Who knows?
All I know is
I like to believe it's
the
real.
story. Me too. That's it. Me too.
I'm going to remain in denial. It's real. It has to be. I saw it in grade 3. It was magical. It must be real.
Yes.
But yeah. Did you want to cover the White Lady of Stowe Lake? Or you want me to cover a few? Actually, here, never mind. I shouldn't have asked. I'll cover a few.
All right. I don't even
Sorry.
know what's going on. Sure.
We had some extras that we were going to trim if it went too long, but it looks like we aren't as long as last week, so that's good.
So we're good, yeah.
Last week
Woo!
was crazy long. Now let's see. Now there's the Verdella Palace White Lady. There's a few origin stories passed around for this one, but all contain an unhappy bride. Either she is married to someone she doesn't love or she's killed by a lover. Either way, she's often seen wearing white and advising children to return home as it's late, or telling young and older men to find another love or to join her in her shadow. Ooh. There, there is a variation to the story where she actually wears a blue wedding dress and she's called the Lady in Blue. So, yeah. But it said she right? It's a little different. It said that she haunts the palace, though she's sometimes seen in the forest surrounding. And many people who attend the August Moon Ball confirm that she does indeed appear around that time. So, if you want to schedule a ghost hunting vacation, that's the place to go in August.
Definitely. Clearly.
Now
We have to go sometime.
Right. Now there's another one. There's the Lemon Dam. Now this one's just kind of, it's another basic Lady in White story, but it's kind of funny. So the Schönveldisch Bosen Forest is also home to another white lady. There's evidence to suggest that the forest was actually once a home to a castle farm that was built in 1396. Now,
Jesus.
right? Now the
That's
17th.
old.
It is.
God. Holy crap.
In the 17th century, the site was actually burned down, killing the daughter of Lord Lambert Reynard. Now, there's a Dutch metal band out there, and they created a whole full concept album dedicated to this version of the White Lady. Apparently, the head singer grew up in that area, and so he was inspired to write this album based off of the legends he heard growing up as a kid.
It's amazing. I love it. Oh
That's great. I would write an album if there's one locally too, right? But
Right.
the story goes is this historical event has spawned a few variations. But it's based around the death of a woman who burned with the castle farm. The most common version of the tale involves a woman having two lovers fighting over her, or that it was burnt down on her wedding day by a jealous nobleman. However, all versions claim that she now wanders the forest as a ghost in a long white dress. Some saying she only appears as midnight, others saying she only appears on nights of the full moon, which is it's interesting because it's kind of similar to the other story, the Verdella Palace. We were talking about this earlier, is like a lot of the White Lady stories across the globe are very similar in details.
Yes. Definitely. I've seen so much overlap that's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it for like the cooler stories on my end. But now
Well, I have
yes.
I have one last thing. That's it.
Yes.
And it's the White Lady of Stow Lake. I think I'm saying that correctly.
Stow Lake.
So, yes. Good. All right, I got it. Good. The story of the White Lady of Stow Lake has been around for close to 100 years now, and has become so ingrained into the local history of San Francisco that the story has earned its own page on GoldenGatePark.com. If you guys want to check their site out, you can go ahead. There's a whole page dedicated just to this story.
That's awesome.
So it is. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So here we go. One day, at Stow Lake in Golden Gate Park, a woman was pushing her baby in a stroller. She got tired after a while and decided to take a rest on the bench by the lake. the stroller next to her. At some point, another woman came and sat next to her, and the two started talking. While they're chatting, the stroller rolls into the lake. When the women finish their conversation, the mother of the baby looks over and discovers the stroller missing. In a panic, she began asking anyone and everyone in sight if they had seen her baby. All day and all night, she asked anyone she could, and nobody had seen it. At a loss, she goes to the last place she saw the baby, the lake. She went to the lake and never came back. That's according to people there. She apparently walked into the lake, I don't know, and never came back up. There's precisely one news article referencing any type of ghost from January 6, 1908, and I will read it here. Police are asked to run down spook who terrorized motorists. Women shriek and fight, confident that spectral visitor tried to block their progress. The park police have been asked to arrest a ghost. The spectral visitor to the city's big playground blocked the passage of an automobile owned by Arthur Pigeon, the cement man, just before dawn yesterday morning, and had several of the women occupants of the machine in a state bordering on hysteria. According to Pigeon, the thing that stood directly in the thing, that's what they called it, by the way, the thing,
The thing.
stood directly in front of the speeding automobile, clad in a luminous white robe, and holding its arms extended as though to stop the progress of the machine. It was first seen by one of the women occupants of the machine. She emitted a shriek of terror, and Pigeon, who was the tiller, looked to one side of the south drive. What he saw caused him to send the machine ahead at full speed. The auto sped at its best clip for over nearly half a mile when it was overtaken and stopped by mounted policeman D.A. Daly? D.A.L.Y.
D.A. Daly.
Whatever
Yes.
that is. Yeah, that's it. He commanded the occupants to stop, and as they did reluctantly. All of them were wide-eyed and shaken with terror. "We were held up by a ghost," gasped Pigeon. Policeman Daly, to whom the park at night has no terrors, smiled knowingly. That's what this says. Okay, anyway. He even insinuated that a visit to beach resorts might produce ghosts or spirits. Now, this same dude talked to the police, and this isn't in the report on the news. He told the police that the thing in question was in a white robe with long hair and bare feet. Now, he was the only one out of the group that saw this apparition to talk to the police. He was the only one that was willing to go back to the scene and tell them where he saw this spirit at. And the only thing that could even remotely give this thing credence, because records at this point were hard to find. Thanks to the 1906 earthquake, there was no mention of this incident. There's nothing. It's hard to find. The only thing
So there might
that
actually
could
be
give
more
this story,
articles.
yeah, they said that it's thanks to the earthquake, it's hard to find really anything from around this time. There's a few things, but none of them seemed to point towards anything that seemed nefarious.
So watchers, right now, if you have someone in San Francisco, a great-great-grandma, tell them to check their attics, go through those old
Yes.
newspapers, please. We want more
Yes.
details.
Yes. See, because it says, so there's no records. Even though this moment in time would have been memorable due to the outrageous story that surrounded, but there is one thing that kind of remotely, in my opinion, barely gives credence to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Barely. this is the one thing they have on record, okay, is two 12-year-old girls who claimed to have seen a naked infant in Lloyd Lake, which was actually a small pond that was near Stowe Lake. That's it.
What?
That is the yes. And the police searched and found nothing. They found no body, they found nothing. And they planned to dredge the pond, I guess, but it seems nothing ever came of it.
Yeah,
There's
like
nothing.
teenagers lie, but that seems like a weird thing to lie about.
Right? I've
Yeah.
seen some shit though. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I can't say whether there's been some crazy people that would lie about that or not, because I've seen some
Random
things.
naked baby by the water.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's weird. And now at this time though, this area of Golden Gate Park really had a reputation for being a suicide hotspot.
Oh
Really.
no.
Yeah, in fact, one in every 12 suicides in San Francisco took place in Golden Gate Park. And there was even a spread about it in the paper. They were talking about how there's so many suicides. So, I mean, do with that what you will, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's a creepy one. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so out
There's
of
some
these
fuckery.
so out of all these stories, Summer, and anyone who's still watching, which one do you think is most likely true?
Me, I have to say that I'm a skeptic. I've had my own experiences, but there's a lot of times where I see some stuff that I'm like, that just seems like it's been put out there for publicity.
Yeah, I actually
So,
asked a few of the stories because there's big rumors on those.
yeah, it just, like, I don't know. Those are the type of people, the people who make these type of stories, type of people that will have, like, ghost hunters come and explore their shit, and they'll fake the stuff. And I don't know. I've had my own experience, but I don't want to talk about it right now because it isn't relevant to this particular group of weird, spooky stuff.
Okay.
But later on,
We'll save
I'd
it for
like to.
other times.
It's creepy, and I just that's convinced me that things are a thing. But then I see other people who are making like weird claims, and that makes me a little like concerned that you're just making things up for attention.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't know. I think for me, like, definitely the Elven Forest because it's like
Yeah, that was
there's
creepy.
so many reports, and I definitely believe the husband they saw something because he's not one to like toss down a random story that's
No,
crazy
I
unless it
feel that.
happened. You know.
Yeah, my husband's a very big skeptic. He's even skeptical of my stories, even though look, I just told him what I've been through. There's nothing embellished or anything. But, you know, so if when he believes thing, I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Okay, now which one do you think is definitely fake out of all of these?
Definitely fake. Oh, Lord. Let me see. All right. First of all, I would say that I mean we have obvious fakes like the White Lady's castle and the White Lady tree, which is just weird
Hey, that tree exists.
stories. That tree does
The tree
exist.
exists. It's not fake.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
We got against tree summer.
We all know. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Russian science. Like this, I don't know. I don't know. What I would say is the silliest one. Uh, because maybe the I feel like maybe Devil's Elbow is definitely made up. Made as a warning to stop people from driving so fast. Just like,
Right.
hey, there's a ghost bitch, and she'll come fuck you up. You might want to do the right thing.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
told
speed.
in a lot of the different cultures, there's certain ones where they just make up urban legends like these just
Yes.
to tell the kids, you better not do this.
Just like the one in the church, which I also find ridiculous, but that's why I put it in the silly section of this whole thing, was the church, the White Ladies Church, um, that literally was just entire thing about don't go fucking people, random people in an abandoned place. That's what that felt like to me. Just like she haunts lovers. Come on, guys. You couldn't be more obvious if you tried. That's it.
I think for me, like, I love the idea of the Russian Zayn maidens, that there's like 350 of them, right? To prevent
Yes.
men from getting married. But at the same time, I'm like, that's a lot. There'd be
It
a lot
really
more
is.
documentation. There, they gave
Oh
up.
man.
Maybe they just had to steal 350, so they each had a new partner, and now they've stopped doing it.
Maybe. Gosh, all these stories are so weird. Like thinking through it all, I was like, this is gonna be amazing. I love it. Every time doing this stuff, it's like just I don't know. It's a mind blow every time, really.
It is, and I like doing it in this format better than when we just go on
Yes.
random binges on our own, because at least I remember it better and I dig a little deeper than I would before. So it's fun.
Yes.
But yeah,
I feel
so
that.
I think that's all the awesome information we collected for today. Next week,
Yes.
as I posted the schedule in the comments, on Monday I'm going to be playing Layers of Fear. It should run about 3 hours, unless I do the
Girl,
bonus game.
Layers of Fear. Wait, no.
You like
Back
that
up.
one? Yeah.
I actually have that one, and it's probably one of my favorite games ever. I
It's
got like
so
all of the
good.
things I could possibly get for it because it's good. It really is.
We played
It
it
fucked
once
me
and
up.
we got like one of the medium endings where we didn't really. Yeah, we had a so ending.
Well, I'll
So.
be here in the chat, hanging out, chilling, because I want to see this.
So I'm going to be doing that on Monday, and then on Tuesday we're going to talk about abandoned places, like those abandoned amusement parks, like creepy places that are just untouched
Amusement
now.
parks.
I'll talk a little bit about my own personal experience exploring the abandoned, I think it was a military base in Mount Laguna in California. It wasn't anything super creepy, but the pictures are a little creepy. I sat around trying to take pictures like ghost, 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 nothing, you know? Whenever you want to see one, they
Yes.
never show up. So
It's true.
ghost-like.
It's true. That's why that's why I question. I'm skeptical of other reports because what happened to me, I didn't try. I wasn't asking for anything. It just kind of happened. And so a lot of things need to be like put on so that they get a TV show or whatever. I don't know. That's my thing. That's my skeptic side, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. And then I'm going to post some of the social media stuff in here for you guys. If you want to join
Oh
our
yeah.
Discord, if you want to
We have
join our
lots.
Twitter, if you want to follow on YouTube, blah,
We
blah,
have a
blah.
Facebook page, but like, come on.
We aren't doing much
Who
with that one
uses
other than
Facebook?
announcements. But we do have the stuff, and we're still updating our Twitch stuff to make sure all the good stuff is happening on here as well. So if we're missing a command you want, let us know. Oh, actually, I forgot
Yes.
another social media shout out. I have another Twitch channel called Rainbow Paints, and it's where I do all
Yes.
these fun things that are a little less creepy. So I like to game on there. I spend a lot of time on there. So Yeah,
And she's great. So check it out, guys.
Thank you, thank you. I like to play a lot of Jackbox on there.
I love it.
And then, as I mentioned earlier, Virtue, he does his own Twitch channel. And if anyone else wants to do their own shout out, feel free.
Yep.
Oh, shout out. I need to put a name. There we go. There we go. And of course, I want
Virtue has helped with so much shit for me. So
he's amazing.
Yes, he really is.
And a big thank you. So please keep checking this out. Tell your friends about it. We really like geeking out about this stuff. And the more people that join us in our geeking horror obsession, the more normal we feel. Oh, yes. And it makes us happy. It does.
It does. It makes us feel normal. I agree. Like, it really does.
But yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. I am going to do a raid, which if you aren't used to Twitch, that means I'm going to send us to a different channel. And once again, a happy belated birthday to Joseph. And then I just got to figure out who to raid. Oh, I know exactly who I want to raid.
You got this.
I got this. One of my friends on here. He's actually a radio DJ in New York. And he's really cool. So let's see.
That's cool. I got a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm willing to like do things, and I'm like, that's awesome. Like, it's crazy to me. So thank you all for being awesome.
Yes. Love you guys all, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week and play some games for you.
Yes. All right, bye guys.
Bye guys.